Good afternoon. I'm Christian Collins. This is the Christian Collins Show, and we have a lot to talk about today. Illegal immigration is out of control, and there's so many different facets to discussing this matter, but most recently in light of terrorism. But before I get into that, I just want to get into some of the numbers. September's numbers close out the fiscal year 2023 with a total of 2,475,669 illegal alien encounters, the highest level recorded in U.S. history. There have been about 6.5 million illegal immigrant encounters on our southern border since Joe Biden took office. And when factoring in the 1.6 to 1.7 million known gotaways into the equation, the number of illegal aliens who have entered the U.S. jumps to potentially over 8 million. Some illegal aliens enter this country multiple times and are apprehended, and 169 on FBI's terror watch list. Those are just the ones we know about. So we have no idea who is coming into our country. And there's a graphic that I think best depicts this. We can see special interest alien apprehensions from Afghanistan, 6,386, Egypt, 3,153, Iran, 659, Iraq, 123, Jordan, 185, Lebanon, 164. And we go on and on and on and so on. All of these Middle Eastern illegal immigrants are coming into our country across our southern border because it's wide open. They're taking advantage of a border that is intentionally open because of Joe Biden's weak policies. Federal authorities are warning of Iranian-backed terrorists trying to enter the U.S. southern border, according to the Daily Wire article, and it says that federal law enforcement officials tasked with protecting America's borders are warning that Iranian-backed terrorists may try to enter the U.S. illegally through the southern border. The warning from the U.S. Customs and Borders Protection, CBP, San Diego Field Office Intelligence Unit comes after Hamas terrorists murdered more than 1,400 Israelis in terror attacks 2 weeks ago that were unprecedented in scale. The intelligence bulletin says that individuals inspired by or reacting to the current Israeli-Hamas conflict may attempt travel to or from the area of hostiles in the Middle East via circuitous transit across the southwest border. Foreign fighters motivated by ideology or mercenary soldiers of fortune may attempt to I can't say certain words, obfuscate travel to or from the U.S., to or from countries in the Middle East through Mexico, the bulletin said. Can we just redo that one part? So I'm probably going to have to edit that out, but yeah. And so now we're going to bring on so and so, and so I'll probably do that one more time. At this moment, no. I mean, I just stumbled all over my words and I spoke too fast. So it was. I'd probably do take two just because I can't. Yeah, from the beginning. Yeah. Well, good afternoon. I'm Christian Collins, and this is the Christian Collins Show, and we have a great guest for you today. We have Noah Terstenjak, TPUSA president of the UT Rio Grande Valley chapter, and we're going to talk with him about illegal immigration, and we're going to talk with Terry Weaver, who is the lead actor of the Breaking Stronghold series, in light of the teen suicide epidemic, and we're going to do everything that we can to delve into this issue, to understand it, to be able to do what we can to help. And so, first, I want to jump into this illegal immigration crisis because this is solely on the backs of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and their terrible policies that have put us in this position in this country. And September's numbers alone, when we're closing out the fiscal year, it totals 2,475,669 illegal alien encounters, the highest level recorded in U.S. history. There have been about 6.5 million illegal immigrant encounters on our southern border since Joe Biden took office. And when factoring in the 1.6 to 1.7 million known gotaways into the equation, the number of illegal aliens who have entered the U.S. jumps to potentially over 8 million. Some illegal alien encounters in the country, they happen multiple times as they're apprehended again and again. 169 on FBI's terror watch list. Those are just the ones we know about again. And so we have no idea who's coming into our country, and that's a real problem. Middle Eastern terrorists are now taking advantage of this, and there are good, probably poor people that are just pursuing the American dream, and they're breaking our laws. They shouldn't be here, but in those, there's also terrorists, military-aged men who are coming across our southern border. And there's a graphic here that depicts this. It's from Fox News. In Afghanistan, there's 6,386 encounters. Egypt, there was 3,153. Iran, 659. Iraq, 123. Jordan, 185. Lebanon, 164. Pakistan, 1,613. Syria, 538. Turkey, 30,830. And it goes on and on and on. And we have a serious problem in our country. The Daily Wire recently put out a report, and this graphic depicts that perfectly. It says, federal authorities warn of Iranian-backed terror trying to enter U.S. southern border. So the article goes on to say federal law enforcement officials tasked with protecting America's borders are warning that Iranian-backed terrorists may try to enter the U.S. illegally through the southern border. This warning from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, San Diego Field Office Intelligence Unit, comes after Hamas terrorists murdered more than 1,400 Israelis in terror attacks 2 weeks ago that were unprecedented in scale. The intelligence bulletin says that individuals inspired by or reacting to the current Israeli-Hamas conflict may attempt to travel to or from the area of hostiles in the Middle East via circuitous transit across the southwest border. Foreign fighters motivated by ideology or mercenary soldiers of fortune may attempt to obfuscate travel to or from the U.S. or from countries in the Middle East through Mexico, the bulletin says. So now we're going to bring on Noah Terstenjak, and he's going to talk about what it's like being a student on a college campus where he's actually seen with his own eyes where Border Patrol are chasing illegal immigrants, and he'll talk about that and talk about this problem at large. Noah, thank you so much for being on with us today.
Yeah. Well, it's my pleasure. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, Noah, what year in school are you?
Senior year. I did a bit of a dual enrollment program. You go in early, so you're on paper you're one thing, but credits wise, in terms of graduation, I'm about a senior.
Awesome, and thank you for leading a Turning Point USA chapter. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's an honor to do that. It's a fantastic organization, and we have a unique opportunity on a campus to do great work.
Awesome, and we loved having you at the Texas Youth Summit recently. So
amazing summit. It was a privilege to be there. I had a great time, wonderful collection of people, and yeah, congratulations on putting on such a great event.
Excellent. So tell us your experience as a student on a college campus where you've seen with your own eyes the ails and problems of illegal immigration.
Well, when we talk about the area that I'm from, my hometown, Brownsville, Texas, has always been a flashpoint for illegal immigration. Ever since we've had the problem. I mean, when you look at a map of Texas, you see that the bottom part of Texas kind of comes to a point, and that point is us. It's Brownsville. We're as about as far south as you can go in the continuous United States. I think a couple of Florida's Everglade Islands are a little further south, but in the continuous United States, we're about as far south as you can go, and we're on the border with Mexico. And our campus, our university campus, because UTRGV is the UT Systems South Texas University of Texas University, and that our school campus is in the downtown area of Brownsville, which is the southern part of Brownsville, which is on the border. So there's a portion of campus that actually is on the border. It's as far south in the city as you can go, and as a consequence, as far south in the country as you can go. And the first year I was on campus, this was during COVID, not a lot of people around. I started going to school fall semester of 2020. And so in the fall of 2020, I was working with some friends in some of the conference rooms in one of the buildings on the southern edge of campus, so on the border of campus and on the border with Mexico. And we started to notice that there were a lot of border patrol, driving around the area. It was not really uncommon to see border patrol in the area because the campus sits in between two cross points, two international crossing points, Veterans International Bridge and International Bridge. It was unusual to see CBP on campus. We could see out the windows they were driving around. There were quite a few of them. Didn't think too much of it though. One of my friends, she left, and as she was on her way out, she walked through a courtyard. Everything on the Brownsville campus is beautifully built around courtyards. It's a part of the architecture and style of the campus. And as we went through the courtyard, we noticed that there were a collection of people hiding in the hedges that were in like the hedge and shrubbery area in the middle of the courtyard. There were people hiding, and as she walked through, they got up and ran out. And so she called me, and I came down, and I mean, it was pandemonium. There were maybe 20 to 30 border patrol units, along with 5 or 10 campus police units. There was as we walked out of the courtyard, we could see over to our left that there was a circle of maybe 10 to 15 people in handcuffs sitting down, and then one of them, as we walked out, just jumped up and made a run for it and ran so close past me that I felt the wind come off of him, and he ran, across the street, long ways across campus before he gave up, sat down, and the border patrol agent who had chased him all the way, had kept pace with him, just took him and picked him up and brought him back. My friend told me later, as she was leaving across the other side of campus, that there were people arrested sitting down all the way on the other end too. So there were people, all over that section of campus that had been cuffed and that had been captured. And what had happened was a group of about 15 to 20 illegal aliens had jumped the fence behind that building. They jumped the university fence behind that building and had crossed into campus. And someone in the administrative part of the building we were in had called Border Patrol, and so those two, the two Border Patrol garrisons at those two international crossing points just converged on the campus, along with campus police. And the reason they made it so quickly is because that administrative faculty member had the Border Patrol hotline. And she had the Border Patrol hotline because it was such a common occurrence. At that time, the coyotes in the cartel were organizing the people coming across, that they would ship them across on scheduled barges. I mean, this is how open the border was. It's almost like a Grand Central Station. Are you on the 5 o'clock barge to the United States? Well, please head right this way. All the people that we saw while we were there were college age, which is another way of saying military age men. They were all men, with the exception of one girl who actually came up to us when we were first coming out of the building and asked us to hide her somewhere.
Yeah.
And all the buildings were unlocked.
Right.
And so she just went into one of the buildings when we said we couldn't help her, and the police and Border Patrol had to go into the building to get her. And like I said, at that time, it was common that you'd see about 15 to 20. They would jump the fence, they would come into campus, and then Border Patrol would have to hunt them down.
Right.
And the reason that they would come into campus there is because our campus really has no border fence. We're kind of just open. Especially at that time, we were really just open to the border.
Right. So, Noah, do you feel, as a college student, do you feel that the vast majority of you and your friends feel safe on that campus?
It depends. I think I would say that we do feel fairly safe, but that's only because Border Patrol, the National Guard, and now our state troopers, DPS, have built a human wall in between us and the border. And we don't have a border fence. The fence that we have was when CBP came to extend, about the 15-foot steel fence that is around most of our city's border. The current president of the university said no, that the fence could not be built because the word was it was unsightly.
Yeah.
It did not look good. So they compromised on about an 8-foot tall chain link fence, which is very, very climbable. And I think that we had there were a few encounters at that time. There were people held at knife point, forced to give car rides to illegals. Thankfully, that was few and far between. No one was ever hurt.
Right.
But for the most part, I think we feel safe, but it's only because there have been so many resources that the state has had to devote. People taken off of other jobs. Our National Guardsmen taken off of battlefield readiness, taken off of readiness for war to come be a human wall in between us and this crisis.
Right. And you depict where illegal immigrants were caught, but in the event that they're not, how easy is it for them just to blend right in?
Instantaneous. I've thought about this many times since. I said it then, and I said it many times since. Had the cartel given them on the way over cheap, or maybe used backpacks or even just knapsacks and told them, don't run when you get across, just walk through campus, just walk through, it would have been seamless. They could have all gotten in. They would have never, ever been suspected. The only reason they were caught, I believe, is either because they were seen jumping the fence or because they ran. I mean, they were running and hiding and looking, just kind of suspicious. I mean, who hides in hedges, Had they not done that, had they just tried to walk through campus, I don't think any of them would have been caught. Any of them would have been apprehended, because I don't believe that anyone would have been called from law enforcement to begin with. I don't know if that was ever done. I know that daily you would see about 20 come across on those scheduled barges about 5 o'clock.
Right.
And I don't know if that was ever done, but I've thought many times since then that had they done that, that would have been a seamless way to cross into the United States.
We just have about a minute left. I wanted to ask about your chapter. You have an upcoming meeting, and I wanted to give you a chance to plug that. And, of course, Mayra Flores is in a tough race down there, and I understand that it's a D+15 district, and she's running against Representative Gonzalez. But she's in a great situation where she's leading by 2 points according to the polling. So you're going to have her at your upcoming meeting. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it's a great honor to have Congressman Flores come speak to our group. We put together a speaking event for her on Monday at 6 p.m. on the Edinburgh campus, and it's open to everybody, open to the community, open to students. We'd love to see everybody come out and hear her speak. She's an amazing, amazing woman who has flipped our district. Most of the districts here have been Democrat districts going all the way back to Reconstruction. And to see people like her and Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz have the opportunity to flip these districts, and now Congressman Flores has the opportunity to take this district back again in a district that is so traditionally heavily Democrat, is an amazing opportunity, and it's amazing opportunity to work with her.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Noah, and it was awesome to have you on today.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
God bless. Awesome. Yeah, I wish there is a timer, but I didn't have any peripheral.